call a timeout because the defense can use that to set up.
Embiid passes on the three. Embiid passes on the three.
Embiid passes on the three.
Embiid passes on the three.
They say when you hit rock bottom that the only way is up. But for the Philadelphia 76ers, they keep redefining what rock bottom is. This team is an embarrassment on a transcendent amount of levels. There is no more words even the most expressive of Sixers fans can use to describe how horrific this experience has been for the fan base. Not only did you lose to the Pistons without Cade Cunningham, you got blown out. You got blown out to the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis. And now against the Toronto Raptors, who coming into this game were 16-37, you lose to them. You make them look like the 1996 Chicago Bulls. The Shanghai Sixers is their new name. That is what we will call them from here on out. The Shanghai Sixers. Because a Chinese team, the Guangdong Tigers, will give this Sixers team a 30-point blowout. By the way, they have been playing this entire season. The lack of soul, the lack of urgency, the lack of any care and attention to detail is non-existent with this Sixers team. You don't need to be a professional basketball analyst to see that. To see the way this team is run when Joel Embiid and Paul George came back. The games they were winning consecutively when those two were out made it look like the Sixers had some life. Yeah, they blew a 26-point lead to the Boston Celtics. They had a close one against the Denver Nuggets, but they almost won those games against actual competitive teams, the type of wins you need if you are going to climb the ladder of the Eastern Conference. And they had some great wins in that part of the season too. But as soon as these two washed, overpaid players come back, the entire operation crumbles. Joel Embiid did carry this entire game. But the way the Sixers were playing when he was on the court was just not conducive to any winning whatsoever. Tyrese Maxey had by far his worst game I've ever seen him play in a Sixers uniform. Was getting clamped up by Sheed the entire night. Was getting no plays run for him whatsoever. What continues to boggle my mind with this Sixers team is how they are unable to play around the big three. Or no, the big two at this point. Because Paul George is a joke. Paul George has zero trade value, and we have to deal with this guy for the next 4 years. Tobias Harris 2.0. The big two of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid are being wasted. They don't run any pick and rolls. I don't understand why. I don't think you have to be a basketball professional to understand that a fast ball handler who can drive right to the basket and finish with ease, combined with a big man with a deadly pull-up game, can be an effective offensive system. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey run zero pick and rolls, and it is disgusting to see them try and operate on offense with them solely funneling the ball to Embiid. Joel Embiid does not even operate in the paint anymore. In the lineups he is playing with Gershon Yabusele, the dude is a power forward. Yabu is the one battling in the paint. I'm not trying to sound like an old head, but all Embiid does nowadays is just float around the rim. He did have some nice Euro steps into the basket, but wasn't operating from the post. He was just holding onto the ball for so many possessions, not getting the Sixers any ball movement. And yeah, like the Sixers did not play as a team. They did not play well. And Joel Embiid was carrying. But anybody who has been watching these games for the past couple of weeks, it is a night and day situation with the Sixers and their performance against the rest of the NBA. Tyrese Maxey, 1 for 9. He had a poor shooting night. He did not play well at all. You gotta call him out on that one. But we have been complaining so much about Nick Nurse and his unwillingness to play young guys. I think the Sixers are so screwed at this point, it doesn't matter how much we complain. It doesn't matter what Nick Nurse does. I agree. Nick Nurse not playing these young guys over Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, not embracing youth, the youth that helped them go on a good winning streak, not tapping into that is ridiculous and should be a fireable offense, to be honest. But the ownership is not going to let him go for a while. They did not let go of Doc Rivers early enough. Yeah, I agree that Nick Nurse, when it comes to rotations, he's an issue. But Jared Butler and Quentin Grimes played in this game, and they were both great. They were both awesome. Jared Butler, especially. He is the quintessential point guard that the Sixers have needed for years, and not Kyle Lowry, who is 85 years old and washed. I know Lowry had an amazing career. He's a champion, but he doesn't have it anymore. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how well Jared Butler plays because he's going to go defer to his veteran in Kyle Lowry. But Jared Butler was magnificent, beating guys off the dribble, finding Quentin Grimes for a nice touchdown pass, generating some gravity, getting a fake look to Embiid, then turns the corner and drives right to the hoop, gets an easy layup. Jared Butler is great, and he's the backup point guard for the Sixers in the future. I can definitely see him playing a decent role off the bench with this team going forward. But you got to stop playing Kyle Lowry. I know it's not going to happen, but it's like I keep saying, I don't want to act like I know everything, but it's pretty obvious that Jared Butler is better than Kyle Lowry. He's better offensively. He can hit a catch and shoot three. He can beat guys off the dribble. He can finish in transition and create his own shot at times. He is an excellent point of attack defender. Was giving Emmanuel Quickley some tough times, made Quickley really work for some of his baskets. They even score on any possessions really when Butler was guarding him. He actually makes guys work when he is defending them. You know what I mean? With Lowry and Gordon, it's a layup line for the other team. And it was the same thing with the Sixers the entire game, just over helping and ball watching. Quentin Grimes, he was another solid performance. I did like the way Jared Butler defended more than Grimes, to be honest. Although Grimes, he then again is a decent point of attack defender himself. Hit a catch and shoot three, just goes right to the basket, does not fear to take in any physicality. But he has the same Kelly Oubre tendency where they gamble a lot on defense. Where they'll just leave their man and try and steal the ball and get some thunderous transition play, but sometimes it just fails. And Grady Dick had a good cut to the basket, got a reverse and one. That was not really a good decision on Grimes' part, but I have liked the way he's been playing. He was plus 10, just giving you a spark off the bench and some shot creation offensively and being a decent defender too. Jared Butler and Quentin Grimes are decent NBA players and should be getting minutes over Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. But Nick Nurse has an established pecking order, and I don't think he's going to be changing anything. And it's just a mess, this entire Sixers team and this entire Sixers season. Tyrese Maxey was getting picked on defensively by Scotty Barnes. Barnes was doing anything he wanted thanks to the Joel Embiid drop coverage. and finding mismatches on Tyrese Maxey. The Sixers switch on every single possession. They cannot maneuver screens at all. Jared Butler and Grimes, to be honest, they're one of the only players on the team who could actually properly maneuver a screen, actually call out for other dudes who are setting screens. The Sixers don't communicate whatsoever as well. But yeah, Butler and Grimes, they were the bright spots for me in this game. Paul George had another just game where he felt like a ghost. You look up at the TV and see Paul George and say to yourself, wait, he's in the game? He had one of those type of nights, and it's basically been the whole entire season for him. You know what I mean? Where you just don't realize he's on the court whatsoever because he does nothing except ISO and brick open threes and eat up the cap space. That's all Paul George does for the Sixers. What else really is there to say about this game? Every time the Raptors play against the Sixers, they try to kill Joel Embiid. I don't know why. I guess, they do have some beef from the past playoff series, but still, it's 2025, all right? The last time they played in the playoffs was 2022. It's over. So, yeah, Embiid almost got his arm broken by a G League player. I didn't really understand Justin Edwards and Kelly Oubre starting together once again. I feel like whenever a team goes into a zone, the Sixers collapse because none of them are consistent three-point shooters. Justin Edwards, I trust him a lot more shooting off the catch. He was, 1 for 2, but they're not, none of them are, premier floor spacers. But you got Gershon Yabusele, who is shooting a great percentage for the season coming off the bench. I know Yabu didn't, play well, at least scoring-wise in this game, but he makes a lot more sense as a fit. Just my opinion. Just as a fit playing next to Joel Embiid because he could space the floor and rebound. I feel like Justin Edwards and Kelly Oubre are kind of redundant the same way Kelly and Caleb Martin are. The Sixers are falling into that same trap of thinking that two, hyper-athletic slashers can coexist together. I didn't really see it work out, but Yabu, I want to see him start over Justin Edwards. I like Edwards a lot, but I think he is a lot better off the bench, just giving you a jolt of energy, playing alongside another facilitator like Jared Butler, while Yabu sets good screens for Tyrese Maxey and doing all that stuff. But the Sixers really have zero hope left in this entire season. We can say all we want about the rotations being run, about how the team is operating in transition or, pick and roll defense or, operating in a zone or whatever. We can say all we want, about our observations about the game, but they are screwed. It's not going to change anything, really, because no matter what they do, they just fail at it every single time because they're soulless. You'd think that the Eagles' winning energy would rub off on them a little bit, but I guess not. And it didn't matter that Nick Nurse started playing the young guys in this game. They played well, and we still lost and got embarrassed. It's just the stubbornness of this organization that really is rubbing me the wrong way because I'm thinking about the future of this team. This season's a wash. Go and try and get Cooper Flagg, shut Joel Embiid down. That's what I would do. That's what I'm sure most Sixers fans would do. Doesn't take a basketball expert to know that this season is toast. But if we're thinking about Joel Embiid and Paul George and their contracts, they're signed through 2029. Do we really think the organization is going to try and move them? Nah, they're going to try and win with Maxey, Embiid, and PG. They're going to try running this into the ground. I don't see them changing their ways whatsoever, although they got to build something with Maxey and McCain as soon as possible because Sixers fans are done with this. We are done with the process era. It's time to tear things down and build something new with a new guy at the helm, and that is Tyrese Maxey. But the Sixers won't do that. They're going to try and win with Joel Embiid and Paul George, unfortunately, because their contracts can't be moved. Daryl Morey won't trade those guys unless he finds an offer that is satisfactory. And there is not going to... This takes me right back to the Ben Simmons situation. Remember when Ben Simmons, the first offers for him right after that playoff loss to the Hawks, it was Malcolm Brogdon and a first-round pick. Now, granted, after waiting all those months, Eventually, we were able to get James Harden, get a good return for the Ben Simmons fiasco, but that took a really long time and too long, and it pretty much tanked the entire season because Harden came in too late and they couldn't build enough chemistry to really advance in the playoffs. And I could see something similar to that happening with the Sixers with Paul George and Joel Embiid. But you have it twice now. You know what I mean? We are just in this limbo where you just have to wait, and the organization just won't pull the trigger and get things over with and start something new. But look, man, we got a couple months left of this pain. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will be live streaming the next game. If you didn't know already, I host Sixers live streams reacting to all of the action. So if you need a place to vent and chop it up about how garbage this team is, then just hop into my live streams, man. We'll hang out together and suffer together. But that's pretty much everything I got to say. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Have a good one. Peace.